2 months before the elections, President Duterte appoints a new COMELEC chairman and 2 commissioners, including a former lawyer of presidential candidate Bongbong Marcos. Following the removal of campaign materials on private properties, the Supreme Court temporarily halts the COMELEC's Oplan Baklas. The partnership between COMELEC and news website Rappler is also put on hold due to the case filed by the Solicitor General before the Supreme Court. As fuel prices continue to soar, some jeepney drivers are no longer following the minimum fare rates. And in celebration of International Women's Day, this year's batch of Miss Universe Philippines candidates answered the question, what makes a woman uniquely beautiful? Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. A former lawyer of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is now a COMELEC commissioner following President Duterte's 3-man appointment. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us the front seat to the story.
The Commission on Elections is once again complete after President Duterte appointed a new COMELEC chairman and 2 new COMELEC commissioners. But one of the appointees is raising eyebrows for possible conflict of interest. Pamantasang ng Lungsod ng Maynila Law Dean George Garcia has served as election lawyer for at least 4 of the 2022 presidential candidates, including Ping Lacson, Manny Pacquiao, Isko Moreno, and more recently he lawyered for Bongbong Marcos in the electoral protest filed by Marcos against VP Leni Robredo.
Nag-serve ako to the best interest sa aking mga clients, but at the same time, that is to me, public service at the highest level.
Poll watchdog Contradaya is asking the incoming commissioners to prove their credibility, especially Garcia, since several disqualification cases against Marcos are still pending with the commission. Garcia will inhibit himself from the cases and petitions involving past clients to put worries at bay.
I have to file the necessary motion to withdraw in all the cases that I am handling sa COMELEC and such other in the Supreme Court, in other courts, pati other electoral tribunals.
Also appointed by the President, COMELEC Chairman Saidaman Balt Pangorangan and Aimee Torrefranca Neri. Parangunan graduated from the same school as Duterte, San Beda University, while Neri has been a repeated appointee by the President in various agencies. COMELEC spokesperson James Jimenez said the incoming commissioners will be assigned to the divisions of their liking in the next NBank session.
We have to give each individual commissioner the opportunity to prove themselves impartial and neutral in the exercise of their duties.
At the same time, the Supreme Court has ordered the COMELEC to stop its controversial Oplan Baklas. The court ordered the COMELEC to comment on the petition within 10 days. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro. We are One News.
The Supreme Court has temporarily halted the implementation of COMELEC's Oplan Baklas, pending the resolution of a petition filed by supporters of Vice President Leni Robredo. Lead counsel for the petitioners, Attorney Ray Santiago, welcomed the issuance of the TRO, which covers privately funded campaign materials posted within private properties. Santiago said the TRO reflects the constitutional protection of fundamental freedoms, such as freedom of speech and expression. Veteran election lawyer Attorney Romulo Macalintal also welcomed the issuance of the TRO, saying this is a victory for candidates who depend on the help and support of their volunteers. And he said the order gives poor candidates a strong fighting chance to level the political arena. Still on COMELEC, who has suspended its fact-checking agreement with news site Rappler. This comes just a day after the poll body said that they will defend the agreement amid pressure from the Office of the Solicitor General. COMELEC says it's only judicious for the poll body to defer the deal until these issues are settled or until the decision of the court is rendered. The deferred agreement was supposed to mobilize Rappler's fact-checking network to alert COMELEC about false and misleading election-related claims on social media. Let's find out where the presidential candidates are headed today. Heavy rain stalled the plans of Vice President Leni Robredo to visit Surigao City this morning. But Robredo is still expected to visit Bayugan City in Agusan del Sur later today. And she's also scheduled to travel to Cabadbaran City and Agusan del Norte to meet with her supporters. And at 6:35 p.m., the Robredo campaign team will be staging a grand people's rally at Gingona Park in Butuan City. Meanwhile, former Senator Bongbong Marcos is scheduled to attend an assembly in Bangued, Abra. And he'll then join a motorcade to reach his political rally at the Abra Sports Complex. Marcos Jr. will also be traveling to Kalinga, where he will hold another rally. And lastly, labor leader and presidential aspirant Leody de Guzman will take the spotlight at the Candidatox Forum, organized by Go Negosyo and Signal TV via One News and 1PH. As pump prices continue to increase, PUV drivers pushing for a fare hike are now taking matters into their own hands. Some are now resorting to overcharging. Shaila Francisco has the story.
Roberto wasn't able to fill up his gas tank ahead of the massive oil price hike due to limited budget.
4 ikot lang ang dinidiesel ko dahil wala pang papultang. Minsan wala lang nga inuuwi eh.
Wala na talaga.
Wala na. Boundary na lang, boundary crudo, susobra, 200.
This is why some drivers along Marcos Highway no longer return change if passengers pay more than the 9 peso minimum fare.
Pero hindi na rin binabalik yung... Hindi na rin sila humingi.
Whenever commuters in Antipolo pay 10 pesos for the fare, they observe that some jeepney drivers don't return the change. While others let it go, some demand for change.
Kung magkano lang yung sukli, okay lang din. Naiintindihan namin din sila. Hindi na lang kami nagre-reklamo.
Reklamo din talaga po ako sa driver pag sobra po.
Bakit?
Kasi dapat yun lang ang sinisingil.
The LTFRB is reminding PUV drivers that they may be fined up to 15,000 pesos for overcharging. Meanwhile, the agency has yet to decide on the petition of transport groups to hike the minimum fare by up to 6 pesos. In the LTFRB's computation, only around a peso could be added based on the recent changes in the prices of fuel. The decision for a 10 peso minimum fare is up for resolution, but the agency vows to continue assessing the situation.
We want to be very cautious here so that we'll be able to balance the interest of the driver to keep providing public transport in a sustainable manner, while at the same time not having to unduly burden our commuters.
Another hearing on the proposed fare hike is scheduled for March 22. Shaila Francisco, VR1 News.
The LTFRB reiterates that drivers who do not observe the minimum fare risk losing their franchise. On 1PH sa Totoo Lang, LTFRB Executive Director Maria Cristina Cashon clarifies that it's allowed for passengers to insist on allowing drivers to keep the change. Cashon notes that it only becomes an offense when drivers deliberately refuse to return change, as this is considered a breach of their franchise condition. Cashon encourages passengers victimized by overcharging drivers to report incidents to the LTFRB.
Sa first offense nga po, 5,000 po ito na fine. Second offense, 10,000 at pwedeng ma-impound yung kanyang sasakyan. At third and subsequent offense ay 15,000 po na fine at pwedeng masuspend or makansela yung kanyang prangkisa. Medyo mabigat po yung ating yung ating mga penalties. Kaya pag-ingatan po natin ng mga drivers and operators. Sa mga commuters po na umaangal po, maaari po kayong tumawag po sa ating hotline 1342 at mangyari po lamang na sabihin po ang plate number ng inyong sinakyan na ayaw po magsukli or nag-overcharge po sa inyo.
This year's candidates for the Miss Universe Philippines have come together to celebrate International Women's Day. To celebrate the occasion, Filipina beauties were asked one simple question: what makes a woman uniquely beautiful? Let's listen in to some of their answers.
What makes a woman uniquely beautiful are her eyes that see her own worth clearly, lips that speak the truth, hands that earn her own merit, and feet that are strong enough to hold her own ground.
A woman who strives for what she's worth, pursues what she's passionate about in life, and does not seek approval from others.
Maritan ka? Sige ko yan. Dawatan mo, sumarayray ka.
A woman that takes up space, owns it, flaunts it, embracing her differences, carries so much beauty. Beauty that has no boundaries or limits.
And the fact that women can come together in solidarity and support of one another in our own individual journeys. That makes us even more uniquely beautiful.
Here are the stories to watch out for later today. The Commission on Elections will have a formal turnover of chairmanship to newly appointed chairman Saidamin Pangarungan. Pasig City will open the country's first pediatric vaccination in a fast food restaurant. And PBA action continues in the Governor's Cup as TNT guns for safe passage to the quarterfinals as they face Terra Firma at 3 p.m. While Blackwater aims to finally end their losing streak as they square off with top-seeded Magnolia. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us again later at 9 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.